Hey guys, Prowl 1701 here, and today I'm going to continue my kind of ranking Doctor Who by decade I've been doing, and we're going to continue the little sub-series I've been doing where I've been ranking all of the worst stories in a season, in the different seasons for an entire decade. So the worst story of every season in a decade. We're doing the 80s this time, so the worst story of each season of the 80s ranked worst to best. And there actually are some truly bad ones here, the worst of the worst. And even the best of the best are good without being classics, let us say. The 80s did have some weak areas, despite also having some strong areas. So we have 9 rankings to go through, as there were 9 seasons in the 80s. And starting at the bottom with season 24 and Delta and the Bannerman as the weakest story, I guess, of 80s Doctor Who. I don't get into Delta much. Now, it has things going for it. I like the character of Ray a lot. I think McCoy is good. The villain is fine. But some of the sets are bad, like the camp that looks like it's been closed down for 10 years because they shot it at a camp that looked like it had been closed down for 10 years. It had been closed down for a while. The music's hit or miss. Like, part of the music works, part of the music doesn't. And I can't remember if it's the incidental music or the 50s music I like. Part of it works, part of it doesn't. And the story is just bonkers, just bonkers, all over the place, bonkers. Yeah, Delta and the Bannerman. No, I don't know why Bobby likes this one, but no. Number 8 on the list is Mind Warp. Despite loving Brian Blessed, the man is a treasure. I just don't get into Mind Warp. I also like Seal. The guy who plays Seal is good. And I love the very alien-looking planet at the beginning. Finding the weird, almost dog-like creatures weird. The ending with Perry looked like she's being taken over by the other creature. I never liked that ending. I'm glad they retconned that later and that Perry lived. I'm very happy about that retcon and that she lived. It's kind of odd she ended up marrying the king because that whole relationship seemed very one-sided. But I am glad she lived, because I never liked that ending. I just don't get into this one. I very rarely go back and watch it. I just don't get into it. Number 7 on the list, probably higher than people thought I would have it, is Kinda. Easily the weakest of season 19. Yes, Time Flight is better. Fight me. Kinda's, those first 2 parts are so bad. Now, the last 2 parts are bordering on okay. My last watch through, I remember not minding the last 2 parts, the last half of the story much. Some of the performances are fine. I don't really have issues with them that much. Peter's doctor acting like an idiot sometimes is weird. I think that's the one where he's doing the thing where you pick the hand, and it seems like it takes him a minute to figure it out. And then when he's trying to do it on someone else, he's disappointed when she actually does it. He's like, "Are you sure you don't want the other?" Davison comes across as really dumb in these first 2 stories, or the 5th Doctor does. The guy who's slowly losing his mind, the actor there, is really good. What, people? You can't just sew together people? That's the way he does that line. It's like, yep, that's a crazy person, and I love that. I absolutely love that part. You can't fix people. The kind of older woman, I think she's like blind. I can't remember if she's blind or just old, but she's good. The actress playing her is good. I like how she keeps calling Davis an idiot. Well, some people might call me idiot. Quiet idiot. That's Davison is acting like an idiot a bit in that. Then there's like the episode 3 cliffhanger with that kind of surreal look to it, whatever camera filter they're using. That's actually really good right there. I think it's the cliffhanger. It's right at the cliffhanger, I think, for part 3, I think. It's really good. I actually really enjoyed that cliffhanger. I don't like the fact that the Mara is not really in Tegan much, because Janet is great when she's the Mara, but she's just not the Mara long, and I never really cared for the other guy when he's the Mara. His acting is, to be honest, not really keen on his acting. And that's just not as interesting. Probably one of the reasons I like Snake Dance better. I do like Snake Dance better. But yeah, that's just kind of where Kinda falls. The first 2 episodes I really don't care for. The second 2 episodes are watchable. Next on the list is Warriors of the Deep, beating out the Twin Dilemma slightly. And that one was a close call. Now, this could be down to me having only seen Warriors of the Deep once, and it was a long time ago. Once was kind of all I needed. It probably deserves a rewatch. I do own it. I may wait until the eventual season 21 box set, even though that'll be a while, or I may just watch the DVD. I have it. It's pretty bad though. Like Twin Dilemma is bad, but there are aspects of it I like. Like the actual story, the broad strokes of the story. The details are kind of weird, but the broad strokes of the story I actually like for Twin Dilemma. And I like the costume for the slug-like creature. It's pretty good. His actual plan's a pretty neat plan. The actor playing the older Time Lord that was kind of one of the Doctor's mentor, he's really good. There's still a lot bad going on in the Twin Dilemma, especially the Sixth Doctor himself. Wow. But I think Warriors of the Deep right now is just a little worse. It just kind of edged it out for the victory, if you can call it that, for being... Especially that ending that just makes me roll my eyes. There should have been a better way. Oh, blessed. Did Chris Chibnall write this episode? Next on the list is The Greatest Show in the Galaxy, which is the weakest of season 25. To me, I actually like Silver Nemesis better. Again, this one fits in the I've only seen it once category. I don't actually own Greatest Show. I do want to rewatch it. It's on the Amazon wish list if anyone wants to check that out, because I actually do want to give that one a rewatch, because I know most people like it. It's held in pretty high regard by the fandom, but it didn't click with me the one time I watched it. The bit with him performing for the gods at the end I didn't like. It's playing to McCoy's strengths, to be fair. He's a showman, but I didn't really care for it plot wise. It seemed dragged out. The character, the kind of Dr. Livingston character, really seemed like he didn't need to be there. The mocking of the fans with the one kid character. I like other stuff. The werewolf girl's cool. The guy playing the head clown, he's great. The Doctor is good. Ace is good. So it has good stuff. It has bad stuff. I just prefer the rest of season 25. Although I need to give Silver Nemesis a rewatch as well. That one's also on the wish list. I don't own it. But the one time I liked Silver Nemesis, I liked it a little more. The one time I watched it, I liked it a little more. So Greatest Show just kind of, since there's only 4 stories in the season, it just kind of falls there. Where are we at? 4 on the list is The Leisure Hive, which is my second least favorite Tom Baker. Of course, Power of Kroll being my least favorite, y'all know that. But The Leisure Hive is probably my second least favorite. Now, in its defense, it's watchable. It's got Power of Kroll beat right there. The Leisure Hive is watchable. I don't think it's very good. I don't like a lot of the alien designs, including the Gree people with the bells, the lizard designs. Some of the effects were pretty interesting for the time. They haven't aged that well, like the Doctor coming apart. They've aged kind of badly. I think Tom Baker's putting in a good performance. I think the old makeup on him when he's really old looks really good. Better than a lot of old makeup used now. That actually looks pretty effective. It's fine. I don't mind watching it every now and then. Sometimes when I'm watching season 18, I skip it. Sometimes I watch it. It just depends on my mood. It's just the weakest of season 18 easily, but still watchable. Number 3 on the list is Terminus. Terminus is forgettable. Terminus is not bad. Terminus's big issue is that it can put you to sleep for one, but it's just very forgettable. It's one of those episodes like a week after watching Terminus, I struggle to remember what happened in Terminus. I remember Sarah Sutton leaving. I remember Sarah Sutton really coming out of a lot of her clothes. That one sticks in there. I remember the dog creature. I remember the switch. I remember the leper colony, and I remember the guys running around in what looks like steel suits from the 1984 Dune, which we'll call the good one. Except for how they did Duncan, Idaho. They did Duncan, Idaho bad in that movie. And it's not a bad movie. There's way too much time of Turlough and Tegan running around like in the little storage, cramped, claustrophobic areas of the ship, like between floors or whatever. That goes on too long. But it's fine. It's just forgettable. It's not one people are like, recommend me a 5th Doctor story. I'm going to be like, Terminus! No, I'm not going to do that. It's one like, if you're experiencing the Peter Davison era or you're in a watch through, you watch it because that's the one you're at. Number 2 on the list, and this one surprised me. This one really surprised me. I put Vengeance on Varos. It's odd for me to think of that as the worst of Season 22. Part of this is down to the fact that I love Season 22. Season 22 is really good, really good. I don't think it has any bad stories. I like Time Lash. Time Lash works a little more for me because I'm absolutely loving watching Paul Darrow in it. He's obviously having a ball. And I watched it with the updated effects. The first time I saw it was on the box set. I watched it with the updated effects. Now, if I was judging it by the original effects, it might be the one on this list. But the updated effects help it. The Borad makeup looks good. I like having H.G. Wells. It's a fun venture. It's kind of like a classic Who equivalent to Unicorn and the Wasp or The Crimson Horror or something like that, or Kerblam. And I like episodes like that. Vengeance on Varos is one I typically like. For a while, it was my favorite Colin Baker story. Just on my last watch through when the box set came out, I don't know why I didn't connect with it like I usually do. Just for some reason, it didn't land for me the way it normally does. The Perry turning into a bird thing is weird. We mostly agree on that. The guy who experiments on himself with the mask, the kind of Phantom of the Opera stuff going on is kind of weird. It's like when the doctor calls him on, he's like, "How did you know?" And I'm like, "Dude, you're in a Phantom of the Opera mask." And when the doctor pulls it off, he never puts it back on. He just leaves it off for the rest of the time. Like, screw it. Like, what you think he would have, and put it back on like Jack or something. But no. There's a lot of good stuff going on in it. The guy playing the governor is good. The cliffhanger for episode 1 is really good. And, of course, again, I like Seal. Seal's a cool character. The guy playing Seal always does a good job. So it's got good stuff and bad stuff. Just for some reason, because I like Season 22 so much, this one just, at the moment, is my least favorite of the season. It strikes me as weird, too. And number 1 on the list is Survival. I do think Survival is the weakest of Season 26, which is a phenomenal season. Now, Survival is a good story. It's fine. It gets a little too much credit because it's the final story. I think it's a little overrated because it is the last one. That kind of makes it essential viewing on its own. And the actual speech at the end when Ace and the Doctor are walking off is a great voiceover by Sylvester McCoy. It's also Anthony Ainley's best performance as the Master, in my opinion. I love the way he plays the Master here. Just the story itself to me is kind of, I think the effects for the alien landscape are really well done. The cat doesn't look very convincing at times. And then some of the teenagers, some of the actors playing some of the other teenagers, as someone who's theatrically trained, it's a bit cringy. Like the one with the sunshade that does succumb. It's good. It's in a season where I like the other stories better. That's the reason why it's number 1 on the list, though, is because it's still a good story. So that is me ranking what I think is the worst story of each season from worst to best. I want to know what you think of this list and the ones you would pick. So comment down below and let me know. Other things to do. Don't forget to click the like button and the subscribe button and the bell for notifications so you never miss out on another video. I also have a Patreon if you would like to support that. There's a link to that down in the description below as well. I want to give a shout out to some of my top tier patrons, Stephen Crane, Colin Coney, and Finn Perkins. I appreciate their support, as I do the support of all of my patrons. It does make a big difference, and it's very appreciated. I also have a P.O. box if there's anything you would like to send me to look at and review, and a link to my Amazon wish list is down there as well. I have updated that recently. I added some Star Trek stuff on there I'm really interested in if anyone wants to check that out. And of course, we have reached 1,000 subscribers recently, so I want to give a very big thank you to each and every one of you. It really makes my day. I have been able to monetize the channel, so there will be a couple of more ads. I hope y'all will tolerate those, but that also helps me out as well, so it's appreciated. Most importantly, thank you for watching.